What's up, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the
J.J. Abrams shooting this?
What is going on there? Yeah, you might have to move there. Look at that, or close the. There we go. This is the perils of sometimes recording on the road. Your setup is not the same way as it is at home, but we are here with a special episode of the Hot Mic Live today for just an hour to talk about this massive news that broke overnight, Jeff. It is official. Netflix has purchased WB. David Zaslav turning his mismanagement of WB into a massive financial windfall for the company here. So much happening behind the scenes, so much going on with this thing. An $82.7 billion deal. They offered a $27.75 a share for the studio and streaming assets with a mix of cash and stock. An overall $82.7 billion. Also attached to this deal, Netflix disclosed that it would have to pay a breakup fee of $5.8 billion if it walked away, while it would get $2.8 billion if WBD backs out. I am John Rocha, and that is the Insider. How are you, Jeff Sneider, with this big news?
Hello, Johnny boy. How am I? I mean, it's depressing on one hand.
Yeah.
Maybe there's silver linings to it. I mean, Netflix is very, technologically ambitious and forward thinking.
Yes.
I think Warner Brothers could certainly use. It's partially a told you for me, since everyone else thought this was going to go to Paramount, and I just
including Ellison.
Yeah, you for real. And it still could wind up at Paramount, which we'll get into as we discuss it today.
Yeah, I was shocked when the news came out last night. You were starting to convince me that they were going to wait until next year and the split or whatever. But it seems like when you're reading all the details that are coming out, and they're coming out piecemeal because, of course, only they have seen the full scope of the deal, that this is going to still go towards a separation of assets next year because Netflix just wants the movie and theatrical side of things and and all the IP that's involved there. But when you look at the breakdown, we were talking before we started here. Matt Bellany over at Puck News had a really excellent breakdown about this whole thing, and basically saying that Netflix outmaneuvered Ellison on this and Paramount on this, and it seems like this is what is the difference between a company who's been around Hollywood for some time and a guy who's coming in from the outside, buying this thing and seeing and playing with the big boys. Netflix and Sandoz were able to outmaneuver Ellison in the end and got into the position. Plus, the relationship between Ellison between Sandoz and Zaslav paid dividends in the end.
I mean, there's just so much going on here, and it's as much about being on offense as it is about defense.
Yeah.
Because even if regulators shoot this down,
right, which is still a possibility for sure.
Very much a possibility.
Yeah.
And you have to sacrifice the $5 billion kill fee.
Yeah.
You're like, is that $5 billion worth it to keep Paramount at bay for at least 2 years? And if you're Warner Brothers, I think given the $5 billion kill fee, you roll the dice, because if it doesn't work out, you get the $5 billion, and Paramount is still there 2 years from now.
Right. The question becomes, because they're not just all of some people are reacting, and look, we should deal with that as well, Jeff, right off the bat. I am not in that camp of the people who are chicken littling this thing. Right. It's the end of the industry. Hollywood is over. I don't think that's true at all. I really don't. And the reason is because Hollywood has survived. It always survives. Movies survive. We're about to get an Avatar film that is most likely going to cross $1 billion. So this idea that Netflix is going to go, you know what? We don't want any movies in the theaters. I think that's ridiculous. Now, about paying the creatives and all of that, that's certainly something different, but the numbers have always gone down since the heyday of the 90s and early 2000s for a lot of the creatives, unless you're in the top 1 or 2% that's actually consistently working. So it's just part of the business. But I'm not as chicken little about this as I see other people being, because the movie industry has always evolved. It's always survived. It's always been able to come out of it, no matter what it is, whether it's talking pictures, color, TV. Movies have always survived because people like to go. I do think, though, that this means less movies will probably be in the theaters, and it'll become more of a premium experience, which is something that I've been saying for quite some time here online.
I mean, I agree with you on that front. I think that's going to be where like the loudest criticism comes from is like theater owners.
Yes.
I think this is bad news for them.
Right.
Not right away. I do think that the movies that have been dated for theaters by Warner Brothers at this point will probably come to theaters.
Yes. Sarah just said that this morning. Yeah.
Right. Batman 2, all that kind of stuff. I don't think you'll see any real changes, for maybe 4 or 5 years,
Right.
if this thing actually gets done in the next year or two, right? It's not even supposed to begin to happen until Q3 of 2026.
Right.
Right. So I don't think you'll see things really change for like multiple years.
Right.
But I think it's just like sort of what Bellany writes here. He said this morning, Ted Sarandos insisted that Netflix will honor theatrical windows for Warner Brothers movies, at least at first. He said that he would evolve that strategy down the line. I think we know what that means.
Yeah.
I think we all do know what that means. Like Netflix, again, this is just its business perspective, its entire business model.
Yeah.
Centered. Geez, there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere.
The
its
sun is
entire
coming.
business model is centered around watching things from home, and I do think that a lot of people want to watch movies at home. Right?
Yes.
Like, this is not a crazy idea. Like if I was about to go see a movie, and someone's like, "Oh, but you can just watch it right now at home with a click of a button on Netflix. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about overpriced snacks, and you don't have to worry about someone coughing behind you and teens texting in front of you." I mean, that sounds appealing to a lot of people. You're talking to someone who goes to a movie theater literally probably 150 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
I spend almost every other day of the year watching a movie somewhere. I mean, that experience, I think I don't think it's going away. I think there will always be an audience that wants to go see movies in theaters, but there's no question that it's dwindling, right?
Yes, 100%. And it's been dwindling even before COVID. It was starting to dwindle because you've made the experience of staying at home much more comfortable. I mean, Black Friday, just this Black Friday, LG OLED TVs were $2,000 for an 83-inch television. $2,000. Most people with serviceable income can get an 83-inch television for $2,000. Put it on layaway, put it on the credit card, a Best Buy credit card, and pay it $100 a month for 24 months. Like, there are options there to have sound systems in your house. And people have large families or families. They don't want to go to the theaters. You said there's like all kinds of issues. Some of the theaters are janky. Some of the ones have been cleaned up and it's nice leather seating and what have you. That's great. But the experience of it all has changed so much. It's no longer as communal as it used to be. And I think people are used to being at home now. I don't need to see Jay Kelly in the movie theater. I can watch it right at my house. I'm I have it on the Critics' Choice app. I've seen like 5 movies already in the last couple of days that are on the Critics' Choice app. And it's okay I didn't see it in the theater. The bigger ones, sure, Avatar deserves to be in a theater. Doomsday, Batman, Man of Tomorrow deserve to be in a theater. But the other ones, not necessarily. And that's just where the taste is going. So creatives can go insane about this, and I totally respect that because it affects their livelihoods. But the reality is the people who fund your livelihood by going and patronizing stuff you have don't necessarily want to go to the movies anymore. So what are you fighting for in the end?
Right. It's not that we don't. It's not the audience doesn't want to see movies. It's just that they're lazy,
Yes, or busy. People are working multiple jobs, man.
Or busy. Yes, exactly. They want to watch the movie when they get home late at night. They can't make the 7 or 8 o'clock showing because they're working that late.
Right.
Yeah, man, there's a lot to unpack here, obviously. Like, what's interesting to me is like the library, right?
Yes.
Obviously, this library is available on HBO Max, but generally when people are opening the HBO Max app, I think it's to watch new HBO shows.
Yes.
It's not really to go through libraries. And I don't know, just with like Netflix's algorithm, you have to give them credit for resurrecting old movies. And I think that you're going to see that a lot more with Warner Brothers titles. Like, just for example, over the last few months, I remember Copycat had a little resurgence.
Yes.
Copycat made it onto Netflix. And all of a sudden, everybody's talking about Copycat out of nowhere.
Right.
30 years later. I think you're going to see that happen with a lot of Warner Brothers titles once they become available on Netflix. The weird thing to me is that, with this whole offer, because they're not buying the whole thing. They're buying studio streamers.
Right.
Warner Brothers Television is part of that. And so Netflix would acquire that. And ultimately, Netflix would be producing shows for third parties. They'd be producing Ted Lasso, which is a Warner Brothers Television production. They'd be producing the next, more Ted Lasso for Apple. So would you see the Netflix logo, or at least the Warner Brothers Television logo that says a Netflix company underneath it before Apple shows or after? It's crazy.
It's a good question for sure. But what do you think, Jeff? You've got your finger on the pulse of the industry, of your sources, your connections. Last night when this started to happen, were you surprised? Were you hearing from people before it broke? Like, what was your experience with this last night into this morning?
We knew the bids were happening. There was a question whether there may be, another round of bidding, or whether this would be enough to get the job done. I mean, you certainly started to feel it when Paramount started sending the letters. You're like, oh, they can. I told you, like, they can feel it slipping away. They are losing it. They hear it's going elsewhere or whatever. I wasn't necessarily surprised that it was Netflix, because, again, we said yesterday, Comcast has sort of been treated like an afterthought in all of this. Everyone was always pointing out the regulatory this, the regulatory that, and I'd always said they don't have to necessarily deal with that right away.
Yeah.
Say it's Netflix, and then it's on Ted Sarandos has a year to buddy up to Trump or whatever. Maybe, Netflix does, and just like Amazon's doing a Melania documentary, Netflix does the Ivana Trump documentary. I mean, who fucking knows? Yeah,
they've certainly had, you would argue, MAGA or red state content on Netflix. Certainly the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff, the WWE. So they know how to play all around the thing, and they don't even have to do something like that. They could just wait out until the midterms, and if the midterms happen, then they turn the Senate and the House turn on Trump and it becomes Democrat controlled, then they may not need to cozy up to Trump to get all this put forward. Yeah.
And again, this could get shot down.
Yeah, totally.
It get shot down a year or a year and a half or 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And Netflix is like, all right, well, we just delayed Ellison's Empire 2 years,
Right.
And all it cost us was $5 billion.
Right.
So I don't know. It just everything it made like at first I didn't think that Netflix really made sense.
Right.
I do think that they'll have a streaming monopoly. Like, the streaming wars will effectively be over if this deal is consummated. But I mean, what's the alternative? Paramount gets Warner Brothers, and then who knows, right?
That's the thing. I was having a debate with some of my friends in the industry this morning, and they were like, well, I think a lot of the industry, everyone's scared. And Ellison's not the greatest choice with the Trump connection and what he might do to CNN, but like, people might be losing jobs in the industry. I'm like, this is how but this is how you have to have, like, what's the bigger picture here? And for me, I look at it as, yes, I love commenting on this. I love movies. I've done this for a long time. I enjoy them. But the last thing I want is Ellison to get in control of CNN and do what Bari Weiss is doing to CBS and do that kind of nonsense. And then you've got one less voice to kind of to push back on what we see happening in the media. And I wouldn't vote for that. And to me, that's more, the future of the country is much more important to me than the future of a movie studio. And so to me, this is where I think this is the better option. I think, yes, it sucks that Sarandos has been saying all this stuff in the past about, theatrical windows and about this, but like, this is still a Hollywood power player who puts out movies. They put out 30 movies in theaters recently, including some of them that are coming out. Frankenstein recently, Jay Kelly's about to come out, the Chronicles of Narnia. So they do want to put movies in theaters, but just not with the same theatrical windows that you've seen in the past. They're going to be doing stuff here on Netflix. So to me, I'm not as upset about this as I see other people being upset about, and I'm not willing to make compromises to be okay with the Ellisons taking over just so I can keep my job. Like, I'm not a person who would go in that direction. And I respect people who are. I just think the other option with Ellison even getting even more control of Hollywood was not something that felt viable to me,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's going to be a ton of, I imagine, layoffs, and you know, because there's going to be overlap. I mean, there was a ton of
Yeah,
layoffs when Disney bought Fox,
yeah, yeah,
but you know, as much as my heart goes out to those people, like, yeah, that's just inevitable. Like the
yes,
ongoing contraction of the industry.
yeah, yeah,
Um, you know, only there's just listen. There's so much fat at these studios. There's a ton of fat at Netflix too.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that cuts will need to be made.
Well, and you need to look at this long term, right? This is a move they've never made, Netflix. So if they're coming in if they're going to be in partnership with and Zaslav is keeping his job, by the way. He's keeping his job as CEO. So he will be shepherding these films into the theater. There's nothing that said Sarandos maybe played this in a certain way to fuck with Ellison mentally, outmaneuvered him, got WB, and is still going to honor the theatrical model. And now they can make money theatrically and streaming and have a shit ton of content that's available to you at home. So there's a possibility here that they saw long term. This is a smarter move for us. We'll be able to trim down the movies that go and trim the fat a little bit,
Well,
and then we'll put good stuff on there.
here's the question though. It's like
Yeah.
you're buying a brand like HBO, which is, you know, like the Tiffany's brand of television.
That's very true. Yeah.
Is HBO without the people who make up HBO? Like, you know, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
the people who run HBO essentially get private financing to start HBO essentially somewhere else under three
Right.
different letters.
Right.
You know,
Do those people go to Apple TV or maybe Peacock, who just bought Taylor Sheridan? Would Peacock becoming a premier place to put their stuff?
and listen, it means a lot to get the HBO library too, and you can do all of this, reboot The Sopranos, and you can do all kinds of stuff. Not to mention that the interactivity that Netflix really does have its finger on. I don't know how many years away we are from just being like, well, I want to play Christopher in The Sopranos. Play the next Sopranos episode with Jeff Sneider as Christopher. Like, I don't know how close or far away we are from that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot to wrap your head around. Obviously, the possibility that we could be watching the Harry Potter series play out on Netflix
instead of HBO Max, right? Because they said they're going to keep HBO Max, but for now. But I think what you say is a really interesting thing about, like, well, how much is Netflix what are they going to do with these streamers? Are they going to keep the HBO people? Because the thing, and let's be real, as much as I like the idea that Netflix more than Paramount buying WB, you have to look at what Netflix has done with the projects they have acquired. They drove off the Avatar, Airbender original creators because they want to do it their way. I hear from people at SAG that they were the reason that the SAG awards were changed to the Actor Awards because Netflix wanted to make the change.
marketing.
Marketing. So for them, putting their hands on stuff that they've purchased, there is a track record of them changing stuff when they put their hands on it. So there is a possibility that could change DC. They could change Harry Potter. They could change how all of this stuff comes out, just to, kind of look at it from the other side as well.
How about like the DC of it?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Just like executives, like, does Dan Lin continue to run Netflix Film, or do you bring in DeLuca and Abdi and have them run it, especially after the year that Warner Brothers just had?
Great point.
Do you keep Gunn and Safran at DC, or are you putting your own people in there? I mean, I think you're going to get to see Gunn's universe play out over the next couple of years, again, unaffected. But the question is whether, he sticks around for 5 years. Like, that whole 10-year plan he was talking about, I don't know that he'll necessarily get to execute that. But I am relieved that it's not Paramount, calling the shots there. I just thought that whole situation was ludicrous.
But let's talk about that. Let's bring him up here. I mean, how Ellison must look like a damn fool today because he's the one that started all of this. By going for this power grab. And remember, he told Kim Masters on the Puck News in his interview that he was going to go after WB before he'd even finished purchasing Paramount. His eyes were on WB. And he's the one that kind of forced this thing and started this process. And now he lost on this process for now. Of course, he's going to cry to daddy. They got money and connections.
They're going to do a hostile bid, apparently.
That's what's the rumor.
To shareholders and say, hey, listen, I don't understand. This is the better deal on the table. You have a fiduciary duty to accept it.
But I feel like Zaslav would have already pulled the board. I feel like Zaslav would have said, like, to them, what do you guys think? What do you think? He even said the board in his statement this morning about the whole thing when he sent the memo out.
Yeah, no, he's not making this decision himself,
Right.
obviously.
I said, I feel like I don't feel like he would have gone through with it if he didn't have enough support to hold off an attack by Ellison trying to strong arm his way in and convince the board. Because it only takes, when I read it only takes a 20% vote of the board in favor of stopping this as calling it a hostile takeover. So I have to feel like Zaslav polled everybody and saw that it was below 20% and that people were on board with this.
Does Zaslav does Netflix keep Casey Bloys from HBO, or is Bella still calling the shots on the TV side, right? Like,
yeah,
these are two totally different executives, and they have a good relationship. I guess that they're going to try to work together at the beginning. Again, we're years away from anything even happening, but a lot of interesting questions on the personnel side.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, everybody, the Streamlabs Super Chats are open. We're only on for an hour, so we've got about 35 minutes left in the show. If you want to send your questions and comments now, do it now so we can get to all of them before we wrap up here by the 1 p.m. PT time here on this show. So the thing also, Jeff, but we have to deal with the reality that a lot of creatives are upset about this because of the contraction. There will be less content, less stuff being done, more stuff being maybe more projects being killed. And there'll be Netflix involved. Do you think Netflix will be involved with selecting projects for WB like right now in the new year? Or do you think it'll wait until they officially get everything squared away and then they're going to
be just like Paramount and Skydance, right? It was like David was not really allowed to make decisions for Paramount until the deal closed.
Right.
Which is why, you saw in the Puck Report or whatever, or someone was writing about it, about how whenever Ted at the company holiday party this week was asked about the deal, he would just walk away. He couldn't even say a single word because it would jeopardize it. So I expect you'll still see Warner Brothers. I don't know if they'll necessarily be in bidding wars with Netflix. I think they'll still have to operate independently, and you won't really see a disruption on that front for, again, at least a year.
Yeah, Zaslav said in the memo that he sent out to the staff that although you may have friends at Netflix, please resist speaking to them about this deal who are fellow executives because it could cause regulatory issues down the road. So there is a hyper awareness of how tenuous this purchase of WB might be because you have an entire government possibly involved in trying to tip the scales towards their buddy Ellison. You have Ellison and his father's money here coming in, trying to maybe strong arm some of these people. I would not be surprised to see some mafia tactics being used in terms of we've got information on this particular board member. You need to be voting in favor of this or whatever. So Hollywood is crazy like that. And you never know what people have on you and what situation and how it could influence you to change your opinion on something. So there's a lot of moving pieces.
I just like that Netflix is willing to think outside the box and experiment on certain stuff, whether it's like the Cloverfield thing where we're going to surprise drop this and it's going to be on service in a few hours. Bandersnatch with the interactivity and things like that. John Mulaney, in his live show was just this is a company that I think takes interesting chances. They don't always pay off. But maybe they'll be able to do something interesting with WB's IP and library.
How does Greenstein going to visit Zach Kreger look now, as we talked about it yesterday? Jeff, it looks even more presumptuous and foolish.
Yeah, well, it's just, I don't know. That is weird. They could always try to sign Zach Kreger to an overall deal or something.
Yeah, at Netflix, why not? Very possible. Does John M. Chu see this news and go, damn it, I should have held out a little bit longer for a 3-picture deal? Or do you think he's happy where he's at?
No, I imagine. I don't think he has any regrets.
Okay. All right. But what's your feeling on this? Do you think this will go through in the end? Do you see any snags beyond, obviously the government coming into play? Do you see any snags, company wise between the two? Because the big story seems to be that Zaslav wanted Serenity, essentially wanted to go with Netflix, wanted Serenity, which surprised me because I thought him and Ellison were much more in cahoots, but it seems clearly that their friendship is what carried the day between these guys. So do you think they had all these conversations, either on the books or off the books, discussing all the possible hurdles and obstacles and challenges, and that they're going to go through them together in order to get this thing locked down?
I buy that, the back half of what you just said, and
Okay.
and like, we want this to actually happen. Let's work together to make it happen.
Right.
But I don't think that Netflix got Warner Brothers because of a friendship.
Okay.
I think it's about money. I mean,
Right.
Did Paramount ultimately offer more?
Yes. That's what they're claiming, that they offered more
They
at
offered
$30 a share.
28, and that the ultimate sale price was $27.75.
Yeah.
And I know, I think Zaslav really wanted a number with a 3 in front of it, right? He wanted $30.
Yeah.
But and I think that was what the initial reports said,
Right.
But then it was disproved, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know if the 30 was more for like the entire studio, or if it's the fact that if they are only buying the studios and streamers, Netflix, there's going to be, I mean, don't they have to sell the other half of the studio?
Yeah, that still has to happen. The other half of the studio.
So the final price, it is more than 28, I guess, because there's still more money to be made. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a fucking financial wizard. I ain't a fucking Wall Street guru over here. I got fucking $2,000 in my fucking bank. All right? Like,
I got the sun beaming down on me. But you know what's been surprising? I know you're not a money guy, but we should bring this up. Netflix shares fell 5% last night when investors realized
the shareholders don't want them to do it.
People are not happy about this, neither in Hollywood or the shareholders. That's surprising to me, the Netflix shareholders.
I mean, they're probably just like, we don't need it. Like, things are going fine. Like, why are we taking on
this
and all risk and all that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sarando sees the bigger picture.
I think he does. I trust him. I know people might think I'm stupid or crazy, but I trust him. I think he does see the bigger picture. I think he does have future plans for this. I think he wants to be a guy who's got Oscar-winning content and stuff that appeals to middle America and everyone else, and global stuff as well. We see them. I mean, 50%, they said that in the interview, 50% of their content is being watched is anime. So these are all big picture moves. They want to be global. They want to be like Disney. That's what I see Netflix becoming. This company that fucking 15 years ago, you just rented DVDs that came to your house. Now they are this massive gargantuan kaiju in the middle of Hollywood. And I think this was the next step, because you heard James Cameron, you heard other people saying like, fuck Netflix, fuck them getting an Oscar, fuck that nonsense, never again. Well, if they merge with Warner Brothers, maintain the theatrical windows to a degree, and put stuff out, then I think the industry changes their attitude towards Netflix.
It was the only way Netflix was going to win Best Picture. They had to spend $80 billion on the studio.
I mean, can you put a price on credibility? I don't know.
Wild. Yeah, man, we're living in weird times.
But this one feels different, doesn't it, Jeff? Like, it doesn't feel like Amazon, MGM, and Oben Gleiberman has a nice article in Variety on that as well. Mentioned like MGM was basically back catalog stuff. They weren't really that viable of a movie studio at the time.
Warner Brothers was a massive studio.
Yeah, whereas even Fox was pretty much falling apart, and Disney came in. This is the Warner Brothers on a heater. They're on a heater right now with all this, so it's even more shocking.
And I wonder if that heater emboldened Ted Sarandos a little bit. Like, I wonder if he saw the results of this year and is like, oh, wow, this is like what can happen when you take risks and the risks pay off. And but yeah, something like Sinners would get 2 or 3 weeks in theaters, and then it would be on Netflix. And I understand why, if you're Ted Sarandos, you'd want to do that. Right. But I think it does deny people just the opportunity to discover a movie and for word of mouth to propel movies. It's either, it's opening weekend or the weekend after, or you wait until streaming. Yeah.
Exactly. And listen, what we live in a world now where it is opening weekend is what matters. Opening weekend and the second weekend is what matters. We've all participated in that, and that's part of it. And the idea of finding a movie and a movie having legs, I think there's still going to be plenty of studios are going to put out movies like that. And whenever there's a vacuum created in life, in society, in business, something comes along to fill that vacuum. So if the Netflix WB merger goes through and there is a vacuum created, another studio will slide in. Jeff, you've said this before, like maybe an Arab funded, like a PIF funded studio. We see money coming in from all places. If there's a vacuum, something must fill it, and somebody will be motivated to fill it. So we'll get a studio coming out with this stuff. So yeah, I don't think this is the death of the industry or the death of movies at all. It's just an evolution to a different place. And I think Ted understands this. All the creatives, I get it. We're all pearl clutching and we're all nervous and all of that stuff because our jobs depend on it. I get it, right? But it's about pleasing the consumer. And if the consumer is telling you, we don't want to be going to all of these movies because of all the drama involved in it, we'd rather stay at home, then it's their job to supply and to meet that demand with a supply, and a supply that is more convenient to the people demanding it. And that's what's happening.
Listen, these are self-inflicted wounds, right? Hollywood did this to itself by breaking down the window and training the audience to wait 17 days to see a movie at home.
Yeah, the COVID.
Yeah, man. It's like I don't see this as the death of cinema. I do want to believe that these people love movies, but I also see a lot of just like greed and like this is about power and legacy. And I feel like the industry is not being run by the people who really love movies. That's the thing.
And I'll say this to the people watching us, Jeff. For everybody clutching their pearls about it, make sure you cancel your Netflix subscription. Make sure you cancel your HBO Max subscription. Show me that you really, because guess what? They're playing with your money. They're playing with your money to go after these studios and do things. So if you are so mad at Netflix, let me know when you cancel your subscription. You're part of this thing. You have given by buying these streaming services, you indicate to the people in charge that this is the kind of content you want to see, and this is the kind of convenience you want to have to access that content. And so I think too many times people don't want to take response. They want to blame other people, but not realize how much they're complicit in the things that are happening, And so I think that's also important as well. As much as you want to complain about it, show me all the creatives who are canceling their Netflix subscriptions as a result, or the HBO Max subscriptions as a result. And there's not going to be that many, Anything else you want to say on this, Jeff, before we move on to the questions and comments here?
Questions, bro.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get to the questions. We only have an hour, everybody. Max Losses Rocha recently said the world today is like the fall of Rome and theater's demise is escalating. I still look for the good in general. Love the show, boys. Yeah, I never fucking said that. I don't know what you're talking about, Max. I never said the world today is like the fall of Rome. And I never said anything about theater's demise. I just said that people are going less and less. And that's just what happens. And you have to meet that demand in a certain way. Go ahead, Jeff. What are your thoughts on anything?
I love Max Sloth.
I look for the good as well. I just don't blind myself to the bad.
I can't keep track of all the things you say or don't say. I don't watch all these shows. You're on YouTube all day.
It's true. Brady_BK says Senator Elizabeth Warren said, yes, this deal looks like an anti-monopoly nightmare and pledged to fight this and prevent it from happening. If both parties of government don't want this to happen, do you think this deal will go through? That's a very tough question, Jeff, because there's a lot of moving pieces. And Elizabeth Warren does not represent all the Democrats on the Democratic side of things. So, and neither does Trump represent all the Republicans. So I think it just all depends on the money involved and how they've followed the rules on this.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I don't think Elizabeth Warren has been reading Matt Bellany's Puck column or knows really what the hell is going on. I think that Elizabeth Warren, all due respect to the great senator, had this statement already drafted, and there was a blank space with with the winning studio's name there.
Yeah.
Right. Like whether it was Paramount or whoever won this, it was always going to be, this is an anti-monopoly nightmare. I got to be thrust into the spotlight. This is all about me. I'm gonna take them down.
That's a great point, Jeff. This statement was going to apply whether Paramount bought it or Netflix bought it. That's a great point.
You guys have to understand something. I've been dealing with corporate communications professionals for over 20 years. Yeah. I know how they think at this point, and I know I can read through the lines of certain statements. I can just see, I can call bluffs, and that's why I called Paramount's bluff.
Yeah. Fiona George 9454 says, I get that he owns a streaming service and no shade to how he runs things there, but saying that the theater model doesn't work and that it's outdated is just ridiculous. When this year alone, a Minecraft movie and Lilo Stitch movie hit over 1 billion, and I'm sure Zootopia 2 will hit that soon as well. But
yeah, Fiona, that's $1 billion ain't what it used to be, sweetheart.
Yeah. And one hitting 1 billion does not mean I need to do all of this stuff because of one movie hitting 1 billion, you know?
I'm just like, I think even on the recent episode of The Town, Bellany's saying, even if Avatar grosses 2 billion,
yeah,
that's not enough.
Yeah.
It used to be 3 billion. Like this is what Ted is getting at. And I think it's fairly undeniable. There's no question that some movies break through, right. And that some movies are putting up very, very respectable numbers in this new normal. But you can easily tell. It's just like, did I go to the movies other than seeing Zootopia with my nieces? Did I go to the movies this week with my family? No.
Right.
I didn't go with my brothers. I didn't go with my dad. I watched a bunch of movies on streaming.
Yeah. Go see Jay Kelly this weekend. Go see Hamnet this weekend, and in a not in LA, not in Chicago, not in New York, and show me how full that theater is. And I guarantee you won't be that full. So for every Minecraft, there's like 50 other films that don't make $1 billion.
Right? Yeah, all those adult, modestly budgeted or mid-budget movies like After the Hunt and a zillion other things. Christie, Smashing Machine. The list is long.
Yeah,
people didn't show up for those, and they used to.
Ella McKay people ain't gonna show up for Ella McKay either. So put that on the table as well. What
if I dropped a rumor? But I think we may have to wait until next Thursday for that one.
Ted Sarandos said he didn't say he was going to kill the theatrical window. He said we need to evolve the theatrical window, and what he sees is 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's more than enough. Then people, because the audience the interest dies down, and I think it's for a majority of the movies. But I don't think he's going to remove a Minecraft movie that's making hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars a week and go, you know what? Fuck it, we're moving it out of the theater. No, they might put it on streaming. But we saw with Wicked last year and another film that I can't think of right now. Oh, Superman. Superman went to digital, kept making money. So it doesn't mean going to home theater or going to home means it's going to lose the money. Hey, Sul Coombs says, years ago, Netflix published comics and then stopped. Netflix Games division has been sputtering for a while. Now they're getting DC Comics and WB Games, and they can infuse WB IP into the Netflix houses like DC and Harry Potter. Yeah.
Very astute observation. Yeah, I think that gaming is obviously a huge thing, not just in this country, but all over the world. And investing in a studio like WB Games or whatever and getting your hands on that kind of content.
Yeah.
Is also a pretty big deal.
And we're all in a TikTok world. We're all in a YouTube world. That's another approach they're having, the gaming world. This is what it is. Fiona George says, I get that people's viewing habits have changed, but that doesn't mean that some people don't want to see certain movies on a big screen. It does mean that a lot of people don't. And that's what it means. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in right now. Fiona, I love that you're probably one of those people who loves to go see movies in the theaters. But be honest, when you go to the movie theater, is it full when you go? I guarantee you it isn't if it isn't a big tentpole picture. And that's what tells you everything.
Fiona, are you, do most of the people in your life, do they feel the same way, or are you the anomaly? Because I'm the anomaly. I go to the theaters every other day. People think I'm crazy. People, wait, you were just there. What do you mean? You're going back? Yeah, that's what I do. This is where I see movies. People don't think like that.
Not anymore. No, there's too much content.
When I say something like that, doesn't mean no one thinks like that.
Right.
But in general, and with these movie theaters, rents go up and up and up.
Yep.
And attendance is going down, 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 down.
Yeah. At some point, you can't force businesses, and that's people seem to forget this. It's movie business, not movie, stroke my hair or rub my stomach. It's movie business. And if the money isn't there, just because you want something to be around doesn't mean there's going to be people who are going to be like, yeah, let's just keep losing money all the time because this person wants it around, Puerto Rican says, when it comes to the theatrical versus home experience, convenience beats quality. And as VR expands, you can create the theatrical experience anywhere. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. As the meta thing gets better and better, Jeff, I watched 10 Commandments on my Meta Quest the other day, like putting it on my face. Watch the whole thing on YouTube. Is free on YouTube. I fucking loved it. It was a great experience. So that's only going to get better. Prady BK says Netflix is not buying CNN, John. That is going to be a part of the broadcast. But yes, I know, Prady. Right. So Ellison can still get a hold of CNN for even cheaper.
That's true.
Possibly, but I doubt that would happen. I really doubt. There's a reason Zaslav went this direction, and it's to keep Ellison away from this stuff. And so I think in some point it's going to be someone else who slides in. We'll see. Spoofaman says, well, I am skeptical of Netflix supporting theaters. Who's not to say once that theatrical money rolls in, they warm up to it. It's business after all. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Jonah Hex 3286 says, I need to know answers to the big questions related to the WB Netflix. Specifically, will I be able to watch all seasons of Arliss on Netflix next year?
Not next year, but in the next 3 years, I bet you will.
Are we going to have a Robert Willisance? Hey,
I was an Arliss fan.
I'm sure you were. Dancing Dog 60. Gentlemen, to me, this is really exciting. We're witnessing history. I love this. If it goes through, evolve or die. That's how business progresses. Yes.
Better to witness history than be it.
Right, exactly. Sean Nicholson, 1639. Without continued theatrical releases, how can these budgets continue to be justified on streaming revenue? I think that's fair, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I mean, they first of all, that streaming revenue is going to double, at least probably, because Netflix is going to jack up prices.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Now you're getting HBO, you're getting whatever fucking all kinds of shit that they'll use to justify a price increase. Yeah, I agree that the tent poles and stuff will probably head to movie theaters.
Yeah.
But with shorter windows, but yeah, there's going to be a ton of like those mid-budget movies that Warner Brothers puts out that are not going to go to theaters and are just going to debut on the service.
Yep, 100%. Jonah Hex, 3286 says, Jeff is proven right from a while back when trades were buying into Netflix, reps feigning disinterest, but Jeff telling everyone not to buy into that. There you go, Jeff. Take your victory lap.
Thank you very much. Yes, these people are lying when they make statements. Can you believe it?
Hollywood people lying? What? Keltrick Pickens 5752. I bought the 2025 LG C577 OLED and a Dolby Atmos soundbar recently, and I'm ashamed to say I definitely go to the movies a lot less. It's hard to justify with having such a great experience at home. That's my point. People have money to spend. Yes, I know there are some people working 2 jobs and all, of course that, but a lot of people have money to spend to buy these TVs, to buy these systems. You get a comfortable couch. You can set yourself up for less than $5,000. You can put it on a credit card if you have decent credit and pay $100 a month or $200 a month and pay it all off in 2 years with no interest. And so it's all these things are available for you to be able to have the experience at home, Jim.
I agree.
Cody Hunt says, thoughts on the Writers Guild statement. Yeah, they say they want to investigate this. The Producers Guild did as well. Then the Directors Guild, led by Christopher Nolan, they're going to get in there and figure out what's going on. What are your thoughts on all these statements?
I think, unfortunately, sadly, this guild is the Paul Dano of guilds. This is the weakest, limpest dick of guilds. WGA can write a hell of a statement, but nobody cares.
Yeah. Having temped there for a year, I can tell you it is true. It's one of the weakest guilds out there. Dancing Dog 60. Also, Jeff, remember the old Assembly Square Cinema? I took a date to see Titanic there, and she dumped me before the film, and I had bought the tickets. Titanic sucks.
I've certainly had experiences like that. I think I was at Assembly Square once or twice, but it wasn't a theater that I frequented too often.
So you had your relationship sink and the ship sink in the same night.
I saw Titanic with my mom. So
Kevin Cortez 09. Any update on Horizon Chapter 2, or are we SOL? I don't know anything about that.
You're shit out of luck. You'll never see it. It's being Batgirled. No, it'll come out eventually, probably on fucking Netflix, where everything else, where 95% of everything's going to come out now. Yeah, I think they just got to figure out a deal.
Verse 2304 says, it's hard to see how some prioritize movies in theaters over preventing authoritarian regimes from controlling major studios. Personally, I prefer relaxing at home with Warner Brothers on Netflix, as many already do today. 100%. I think the only people complaining about this, bro, are the creatives in Hollywood, which is a very, very small percentage of the people who go see these movies.
I think it's a lot of performative press people who are just like, oh, this is it. This is the end of movies. We had a good run, guys. Things were fun while they lasted.
Yeah. Including Bellany, who called himself out for those posts on his own article. CC Black 1987 says, Rocha, are you seeing the Endgame re-release on September 25th, 2026? Yes, 100%. They just announced that this morning.
No, you're not. No, you're not. We had lunch that day.
I'll take.
In the books, bro.
People only go to theaters for event movies. That's the truth, Jeff. You know, I tweeted this out this morning when I used to host Collider Mailbags, Collider Movie Talk. I said it over and over again, even before COVID. Less and less people go to the theaters. So only event movies are going to be the things in theaters in 10 years, and that they're going to charge $50 a ticket because you're going to get a premiere experience, you know?
I go to theaters for all kinds of stuff.
Yes, you're a good one. You're a good one.
You guys get that one? You guys get that joke?
Matt Sinister McCall says, have you watched The Beast in Me? I'm impressed with Matthew Rhys's performance. Any underrated actress that needs pushed? He plays a great sociopath.
I did see it. He is good. I mean, Claire Danes is good too, but I can't say I'd recommend the show. I was a little let down by the show. I didn't think it was great. But yeah, very good performance from him.
Yeah, I like Matthew Rhys and Perry Mason. That's where I really got to know him. So I'm gonna see The Americans at some point because I hear he's amazing in that as well. The show there. Underrated actress that needs pushed. Tom Pelphrey after Task. Please put him in everything.
Paul Dano.
Dude, you're hitting with these. They come out of nowhere.
I can't stop.
Francisco Lopez 1223. Do you think it will go through, and when? I think it will go through. What about you?
Yeah, I kind of do. I don't know. Next Christmas, maybe early 2027. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Yanks 8488. THR reported Paramount may focus on male-driven comedies. Does that mean we get another Jackass? 25 years as a franchise, and the last one was good. Yeah, I like that last one.
Dude, Jackass is probably the most consistent live-action franchise. All of them have been good. I maintain that Jackass 2 is a comedy masterpiece. I do think that we will see more Jackass. I don't know that it'll be Johnny Knoxville getting a bull's horn up his ass or anything like that. Right. But there will always be young men who will do dumb shit if you stick a camera in front of them and give them a little bit of money. Even more so nowadays when you can make a whole career out of TikTok and social media if you are the standout person in a film like that. Go to Mr. Boy Yankees comment. Okay. Now why Paul Dano catching strays, mate? Where you been, Mr. Boy Yankee? Yeah. Where you been? Watch the show yesterday. Yeah. Also, Google Tarantino and Paul Dano, for God's sake. Yeah. Where have you been, man? All right, let's see. We got a couple more here. Francisco Lopez says, the things I'm worried about besides the theater situation is the HBO and Max series. I want these shows to still be weekly and not drop all the episodes. Well, Netflix has done that. They're doing that with Stranger Things, right? 4 episodes, Thanksgiving, 3 episodes, Christmas, 1 episode, New Year's Eve. So they have done the weekly thing in the past. I mean, and the other thing, Francisco, and everybody forgets about this, you can still watch weekly. Yeah. They can dump them all on at once, and you can be like, all right, honey, we're going to watch the show on Sunday nights at 9:00 as if it was really airing. Yeah. As long as you don't need to be by the water cooler or you don't need to host a YouTube channel, you can watch the shows weekly at your pace. Piscean Warrior says, maybe now Netflix can put more diversity back in movies when the political climate changes. Maybe. Although I do think it's all bullshit. Boy, I hope so. That's I want to just sit down and watch a tale of diversity tonight. Click. How dare you? I don't give a fuck. Just give me a good story. I don't care if it's all black, all white, all green, all penguin. I don't care. Or a mix. A mix would be nice. Wayne E42 says, good afternoon. Oh, man, the Hot Mic, Campy, and Breakfast All Day are all live at the same time. I'm bouncing around. Have a great one, fellas. Oh, I didn't know Campy was on right now. Oh, well. We go when we go, man.
Thank you,
Go
Wayne.
when we go. That's right, man. We go when we go. You guys, don't worry about Warner Brothers movies. Don't worry about Netflix shows. The only show you got to worry about is this one, The Hot Mic, and who knows where it will be.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. CC Black 1987 says, make theaters similar to the Sphere in Las Vegas. Right. But people, they charge $200 to see a truncated Wizard of Oz movie in the Sphere. And people went and sold out that run, Jeff. So
you're in Vegas and you're a tourist and you need shit to do and you don't want to spend all day locked inside a fucking casino losing money. I mean, yes, they need to make experiences, and Netflix has been good about that. They're creating these Netflix houses, which have experiences, and you can still go see the movie in the theater or whatever. Yeah. So expect a lot more of those.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Samuel says, do you think Netflix will respect WB physical media releases, especially for those Blu-ray enthusiasts? No.
I mean, you think Ted Sarandos is there with the board and he's like, guys, I know we've got a business model here, but we can't forget about the Blu-ray enthusiasts.
Yeah, we can't forget about. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, no offense, and I collect them like crazy, but you got to read the tea leaves, and the tea leaves is, people aren't into physical media anymore in the numbers that they were in the past. Just like records back then, when they went the way of the dodo. Lou said, take my money. Happy Friday, John and Jeff. Thank you, Lou. I hope Netflix removes the Max portion. Hated it. And maybe HBO can now be a premium area for early release of movies to watch at home. I'll tell you what, I would love that, Jeff, if they removed Max from everything and we never saw it again on the HBO side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stand the name only because my college roommate was named Max, and every time it's like, Max, wait, what? Huh? Derek, how dare you show up late?
Come on, Derek. Matt Thomas says, if I didn't need my Netflix subscription for my screeners, it would be canceled. HBO Max is gone. People need to start stocking up on WB physical media because that is what is really in danger. In my opinion, Comcast was the best option. Matt, are you telling me you only watch your screeners on Netflix and you watch none of their other content? Matt, bullshit, man.
Guys, you got to go out and get everything you can on physical media because otherwise these movies are going to disappear.
Yeah. Matt Thomas also says Comcast needed this in part for the health of their parks at Universal Orlando just 2 weeks ago. And outside of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which they licensed and would have owned with a winning bid, it was dead. Could have replaced Marvel with DC, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there's a report came out about an hour ago that the parks are negotiating. This is on Bloomberg, negotiating about where DC parks are going to be. So we may see parks that replace other parks there in those lands, depending on the situation. So Jeff Sneider, Orange Chicken. Jeff, this merger has major implications. Question, though, and not what you've heard, but what do you feel hypothetically happens to Matt Reeves in Batman Part 3? Also, Jeff, you look sexy, dude. What the fuck, bro? Much love. Rocha, maybe burger soon. John, can we hang out? Jesus Christ.
Dude, you're not getting a burger with Rocha before I get a burger with Rocha. Okay. And thank you. I'm feeling sexy. Batman Part 3, theoretically, I mean, I don't know. I really don't. He has a good relationship with Netflix. Maybe they'll let him continue his vision and do whatever he wants, especially because it's not part of the DCU, which maybe they'll want to rebuild, but or maybe maybe this is it. We'll see how this movie ends.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We'll see. Thank you, Derek. Derek Johnson coming in right at the end here. Caught the show late, and I sent my mom to Vegas for that Wizard of Oz show. Over 600 for good seats, and they dropped apples on her, and she saw the worst wire monkeys ever, but she still loved it. She's a diehard Wizard of Oz fan.
Bro, I will throw apples at your mom while wearing ruby slippers for 500.
But that's the point. Theaters are becoming the premium experience. And Derek, you proved the point with your tweet there, or your comment there. Also, Derek, if your mom is a big Wizard of Oz fan, we just finished all 3 parts of our exploration of the Wizard of Oz on the Cinephiles. So if you want to send her those episodes wherever she downloads podcast, she can enjoy our deep dive.
Order a pizza, go over there, watch the Cinephiles with your mom, Derek.
Listen. We're not on camera. All right. Anything else, Jeff? We're at 3. We got 3 minutes left on the show. Wait, the Snyderverse is not coming back, right? Let's put that to bed. There's no way Netflix brings a Snyderverse back. Do you think that's remotely even a possibility?
Netflix has greenlit a lot of bad, terrible movies and made some terrible decisions, but I don't even think that Dan Lin is capable of making a decision that bad.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
It doesn't mean that Snyder won't still do something with Netflix, but they did cancel his most recent stuff. So we'll see what happens in the end.
I'm not going to say it's impossible that, he could direct another DC movie.
Yeah,
I could be directing another DC movie, but it's not going to restore his Snyderverse and Henry Cavill's going to be Superman again.
Right. Because remember, restore the Snyderverse implies that means that will be the main DC verse. And there's no way they're doing that again.
Yeah, Snyder people, be a little less annoying today. Just
it wouldn't
wait your turn. Get in line.
It wouldn't kill you. All right, Jeff, final words on this as we wrap up. Any final things? Where do you think this is going?
I mean, who fucking knows, dude? This industry is totally crazy. Nobody knows anything. It proves William Goldman's old adage. Nobody knows anything except for the insider, who knows never to believe everything that you read and everything that corporate PR people tell you. So Thanks for watching, guys, and subscribe to the newsletter because I will be writing about this soon. This is like the last couple days with the family here in Boston, but I'm working on it. Don't you worry.
Yeah, plus more stuff's going to come out, so Jeff will have
That's the thing. It's like I have so many things. Like there's so many emails in my inbox because everyone just had to like rush their take up.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of sitting back and like, listen, I used to be the guy who would rush the take up. And now I get to sit back and read it all and actually think about it and digest it and come up with a better take.
Yeah. And that's why you should subscribe to theinsider.com for sure. C Black says theaters have to evolve premium experience. Exactly. And you see that going on now. 70 millimeter, IMAX, 4DX. Those are all to get people in the theaters.
You got to be careful with these reclining chairs though, John.
Why is that?
I mean, I'm falling asleep. That's why. I'm falling asleep.
If they make a better movie, you won't fall asleep. I fell asleep 3 times during Avatar 3. So, if you make a better movie, you don't fall asleep.
I can stand to take fewer bong hits too.
Yeah, maybe that might help too. As for you can follow me at The Rocha Says on all social media. Please subscribe down below. Hit that bell button. Share this everywhere. Let people know about the show, for God's sakes. I know a lot of you can't contribute with Streamlabs and Super Chats, but sharing the show lets people know that this is around and people can come join us and hang out with us every week. So you guys are amazing. We love you madly. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of The Hot Mic. Peace. Until then.